digest. From lane to the new shining ground, echo chants where the legends are found. Heroes carved in the heart of time, we march on through grit and grime. Oh Tottenham, Tottenham till I die. Raise the banner, let it fly. Through the rain, through the fire, this is my club, my only desire. Oh Tottenham, Tottenham till I die. Raise the banner, let it fly. Through the rain, through the fire, this is my club, my only desire. Echoes of King and Greaves in the air. Every goal, the sound declares. Heartbeats pound like a drummer's song, marching forward, fierce and strong. We're the ones who rise in the clash. Numbers running in a white shirt dash. History burns in the roaring crowd. Every game we scream it loud. Oh, I'm Tottenham, Tottenham till I die. Raise the banner, let it fly. Through the rain, through the fire, this is my club, my only desire.
Yes, guys, welcome to THFC Till I Die. Welcome to the channel. And yes, this is THFC Till I Die, home top past, present, and the exciting future under the under the mighty cockerel. And yes, we are starting with some breaking news. And yes, the breaking news is, guys, that Daniel Levy, apparently there is rumours swirling around that he's going to sell his shares. Now, apparently, by this is from Bloomberg, was announced that businessman Daniel Levy is in talks to sell his nearly 30% stake in the group that owns Tottenham Hotspur to a consortium that includes a Hong Kong businessman, Nang Wing Fai. Levy is in discussions to sell a stake for about 1 billion euros or 1 billion pounds or 1 billion US dollars, with the most capital coming from a number of Asian business tycoons. Deliberations are ongoing, can still fall apart, according to people familiar with the matter. Well, I did ask what was the latest on this from the people that I use, and it was more or less the same. That the discussions are early. What did he say? Let me get it up here now. That the discussions are early. It can still fall apart, but there's yet to be any confirmation from Tottenham Hotspur, and no yet any confirmation that how this would affect the ownership of Spurs. Will this be a partial takeover? Will they just buy the shares and then, right, we want to buy ENIC shares? What does this mean for Tottenham Hotspur? And especially on the weekend where we've got nearly coming up to 72 hours left in this window and we yet to buy anybody of significance. Yes, we've bought Conor Gallagher. Yes, we've bought Sojus from Brazil, but that is it. Is that enough to back Thomas Frank, if they are indeed going to back Thomas Frank? Is it enough to stave off our relegation fears for this season? Is it enough to continue our good form that we've been finding in the Champions League? No, it's not. And also, again, it's a failure of this ownership. It's a failure of ENIC to really support anybody but themselves. Anybody but any manager, anybody that's within the football club to build on the success of Bilbao. But no, they seem to no, we're not going to give you any money. We're not going to buy players. You have to do what you got with, and we move on. On Daniel Levy selling the shares, look, I've been saying it for quite a while that I do think there is a battle going on between ENIC and Daniel Levy. And I think Levy's going to call in its bluff, personally. And I think, right, I can sell these for $1 billion, and maybe have the last laugh after all. But that is the latest on that. Just a bit more. It's just, yeah, so that is the latest. Any more? I will bring it to you first and fastest on this. We are waiting for a major update, so let's see who's in tonight. I want to say big up to Wayne Bonner, who has gifted a membership as well. Big up to you, Wayne. Let me see who you've gifted that to. Let me see. Hope you're doing well. Sorry for the not welcoming normal people in. I just need to get that information out as quickly as I can. So that is the look for me. Is it a good thing for Spurs? Probably no. With more than 72 hours left in this window, we need everyone pulling in the right direction. But look, could this be Levy's last laugh? Could well be. Could well surely be. But we've had, Tottenham earned 42 million as well, by the way, guys, for qualifying for the next round. And it's gone to Steve Decoy. Steve, do thank Wayne Bonner for the gifted membership if you can, bud. It really, thank you so much, Wayne. Really appreciate it, bud. Really appreciate the support. Let's welcome a few people in. Big up to Wayne Bonner. Good evening, folks. Hope you're all well. Levy is selling the shares to me. Would be a parting shot at ENIC and upset the apple cart. Billion time. Is it big time? Oh, yeah, big time. Of course it will. Of course it will, Wayne. You know that as well as I do. Of course it will. Makes you wonder if Levy was the good guy after all. It's starting to come like with this window's going that maybe Levy was the good guy. And yes, he did make mistakes at the football club. But I do feel that ENIC were behind it all. And look, they're showing them now how they are. They do not want to spend money. They really don't. Big up to Konsky Ketchup. It says it's very convenient for the club to release such news on the news that we're not signing any more players. I haven't seen that bit of news. I haven't seen that we're not going to sign any more players. But I think this news just came out of nowhere that that Levy will be selling these shares. Now I'm trying to get more information on this as much as I can. I'm just trying to get as much news and as much information as I can on this. Why is everything frozen? Okay. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'll find it out soon. Big up to Simon Cohen as well. Big up to you, Dermot. Big up to Ed from Evening Dermot. Levy must sell us. Coy's from snowy Hamburg in Germany. Yeah, well, he only owns 30%, and that's it. 30%. That's all he owns. So it's not really gonna. He owns that in ENIC, not in Tottenham. So he'll be selling these ENIC shares. So I don't really fully understand it, if I'm being honest. Big up Simon, still no signings. No. And I don't think there will be either. And of course, they care about Europe and our league position, which is why they're making so many. Oh, yeah, they really do. They really do care about where we are in the league. Oh, yeah, you're right there. Absolutely. Big up. Who's he possibly selling his shares to a businessman? Let me get his name again. His name is, apparently, this is a rumor, to Nag Wing Far. Sounds like somebody out of a Marvel film. Yeah, NGWING Far. That's who he apparently sending shares to. Without doubt, we're absolutely need to bring in a few more faces, but the summer will be the big one. Dwayne, this for me is the summer. Doesn't matter. This is the window we have to concentrate on. This is the window we have to concentrate on. We've got injury crisis. We're down to the bare bones. This is where we should be trying to get players in to help who's ever manager, either it's Tom and Frank, whoever it is, to help them out of this situation. You could bring down Moses and God Almighty himself, and they still wouldn't make Tottenham win again because there's got so many players out. And then to go and let Dean Scarlett go to Scotland to go out on loan, that leaves us with two strikers. One injured, and one sort of nearly fit. Please tell me are we in that much chaos behind the scenes? Are we in chaos behind the scenes that we have let it get this bad? I know there's a protest on Sunday. I bet you any money they've got sort of 48 hours now nearly to come out with something to say, oh look, we've got this player in the loan. So we've got two strikers. We've got Morani and we've got Solanke fit, and the third one, of course, is Richarlison, who's injured. So we've got two fit strikers. What happens if Solanke goes and gets himself injured in Man City or Morani? That leaves us with one striker. This is not the way you run a football club. It really isn't. Big up to you, Giant68. Big up to you. Then he says, I hear we're getting rid of more strikers. Worst January window for Spurs. We have sold Johnson, no replacement. Absolutely spot on. What happened to the 150 million? It was never there in the first place. Extra that they were boasting about. It was just awful. It was just words on a bit of paper. There was nothing there to begin with. Absolutely nothing. Big up to Denny. Says, just wondering, have we sold Solanke? No, he's still at the club, thankfully. They've learned, yeah, I know. Wayne, I have no idea why they've loaned out Scarlett. I have no idea. That's my worry, Giant, that we are going to go and get Sterling as well. That is my worry. And that's a freebie. That's not going to cost them anything. I bet they're on the phone to him now. Yeah, come to Tottenham. Yeah, we'll pay you a big wage. Don't worry about it, Random Sterling. I don't know. I don't know. And I wrote a few notes down earlier, guys, about what I was going to talk about tonight before the Levy news came about. And what I would do want to start with, right? Any more news on Levy, of course, I would bring to you first and fastest. Always have done. And look, the failed transfers, that really has doomed our season, to be fair, because it has doomed our season. We're supposed to be a top four challenger, a new era of ambition under Thomas Frank, under this ENIC 2.0, 100 million cash injection ready to be deployed, apparently. In the autumn of 2025, that was the promise that was sold to us, Tottenham fans. That was the promise that was sold when Ange left, and they put out the statement, and the Binay and Viv and Charlie and the ENIC 2.0 was, we're going to build on the success of Bilbao. We're going to build on it, and we're going to grow, and we're going to go for titles. No more money pinching, no more not buying a lot in the transfer market. We're all behind one man. We're going to do it. And with a new manager, Thomas Frank, at the helm, and the board vowing to back him, this was supposed to be the transfer window. This window was supposed to be the first proper one under the new ownership to really flex their muscles and show them what we're all about. But the reality is, we've got a season that has turned into a nightmare. The team's now been hit with so many more injuries even worse than last season. We're sliding down the league in 14th. And this is and the story of the January transfer window is that Tottenham seems steering on the edge of either being relegated or just missing out on relegation. And this is the month where you really do have to bring in players to help you. We're only 8 points clear of West Ham. And what are we dealing with? We're dealing with nothing. We're dealing with a squad that's ravaged. I mean, absolutely ravaged. We only had 14 players. Please tell me who were the kids on the bench. They were kids. They haven't even made their Tottenham debut yet. That's what we've been brought down to. We were promised a new dawn. And, when Thomas Frank was appointed in the summer, the message from the club was one of renewal. In October, that promise seemed to take concrete from when the club majority shareholder, ENIC, did announce a capital injection of 100 million. The funds the club assured its supporters were available to bolster the squad that was already showing signs of strain. We're now in the 30th of January. 30th of January 2026, and we bought a Brazilian, 19-year-old Brazilian who's only played 26 games. Big up to him. And Conor Gallagher. Yippee. I'm really excited. Oh, yeah. And of course, we've signed another under 18 from West Ham. Yeah, really pushing the bat out there, guys. Well done, Vinay and Johan Lang. Paratici doesn't give a bloody toss, does he? He doesn't give a hoot. Why would he care? He's off to Fiorentina in a couple of days' time. Why would he give a shit? He doesn't care. So, we had we knew we needed reinforcements, was clear. For a fan base, for us as a fan base, we're growing wary of near misses. This felt different. It was like the club was finally ready to match its ambitions with real financial muscle. Even Alan Sugar right down here weighed in, urging the board to throw some real money at the problem. The stage was set for really was this month. We were going to transform. I'm big fan of Transformers. We were ready to transform from a squad struggling to a squad that was capable of getting Conference League or maybe Europa League football. But they didn't. They didn't do absolutely nothing. They added absolutely bugger all. Let's get Fiona say big up to Pure Koi says, well, big up to you. So I hope you're doing well. It says big up Dermo, 72 hours, TikTok. Absolutely spot on. Absolutely spot on. David says, no, if you read the chairman's speech, he said the money he mentioned would be to, yeah, David, I know that. But the point I'm trying to make is, the point I'm trying to make is, maybe it is for day to day, but the day to day, isn't it buying, paying as well? Including, so, some of that money has to be, the majority of that money has to be put aside for transfers. And we've bought nobody. We've bought absolutely nobody, apart from one player that is okay, a kid that's only played 26 games and an under 18 for West Ham. Yeah, really great planning that was by Tottenham. Giant, he absolutely does. I love him. Great signing from the club. Need to get behind him, give him the confidence as well as the belief he wanted at Tottenham. Big up to Tim Man 007. Don't forget, Dermo, we should be happy. We're in for Saminia. Oh, yeah, I really was. Brilliantly, yeah, I'm over the moon with that statement. Oh, and Aguero. Oh, and Mane. Oh, and Suarez. Oh, and Hazard. Oh, and Dabada. Oh, and Coutinho. Spurs show respect. Show some respect, Spurs fans. Do you know what, Tim, man? I'm going to say that I was watching the Liverpool fan channel last night, giggling my way at his reaction to Arnie Slot's press conferences. I'm watching Thomas Frank's press conferences behind the pillow because I don't know what bullshit's going to come out with next. Yes, we were in for this player. Yes, and the Lewis family are fully committed. Committed to what? Please tell me, committed to what? Absolute nothing. I don't know. I really don't know. Big up to happy weekend, lads. Yay! We got Man City Sunday. Yay! We're gonna win. Come on, Tottenham. We're gonna beat Man City. Big up to you. Big up to Tango. It says Silver starting crashing the moment Spurs mentioned Sterling. I know. Paratici knew this club was shot to shit. Oh, yeah, they are. We're building a championship level team, Giant. Yeah. I agree, but I agree. Is that why they bought all these young players for the championship? Probably. Big up to Phil Spur, evening Dome. Big up to Phil Spur in 82. How you doing, bud? David says, like I said years ago, Daniel Levy ambition was to make himself substantially wealthier, and he has succeeded. He is laughing all the way to the bank. You know what? I think you're right there, David. I think you are right there, bud. Right, where was I going? Look. Also, I write these notes down, right, guys? Do bear with me. I spent most of today writing this down and how I felt about ENIC. And it was supposed to be, the title of the show was meant to be What a Joke, with Vinay and that on the thumbnail. But because of Daniel Levy news, that apparently that he's willing to sell his shares for $1 billion to a Hong Kong businessman. Apparently talks are very early at the moment, but these talks can collapse, as early talks can. But we yet to hear anything from Spurs. We yet to hear anything concrete from Daniel Levy himself. So a lot of it is speculative news. A lot of it's a lot of rumor. A lot of it's a lot of, yeah, this is the news coming out, but is yet to be confirmed. So you've got to treat every bit of news as a rumor, which we do on here, unless I get 100% guaranteed confirmation what is happening. So I will give you an update that in a minute. Look, the domino effect of failure, and that's what I wrote. I mean, what followed was not a display, but a frustrating series of missed opportunities that saw target after target slip through the club's fingers. Yes, we did go and buy Mohamed Kundus, but the selling of Brennan Johnson early in the window and then the injury to Mohamed Kundus, not to have a backup or not to sell one, buy one, even buy somebody at the right wing in, the cover Kundus was just typical Spursy, wasn't it? Now, we know Sterling's on a free agent. I bet you any money between now and Monday we're going to be linked with him. Or they will be, we might even get him. We might even get Sterling into the club. Will go for that because A, there's no money to be paid. B, it's only on wages and a signing on fee. And Tottenham, I say, yeah, we're the new owners. We're ENIC 2.0. Yeah, we'll give you the wages we want, and we'll give you a big fat signing on fee. Look, guys, we don't have to buy anyone. Look, we've got a new player to help with the squad. Yay! That'd be a bigger. Do that probably the last hour of the transfer deadline day on Monday, as usual. And we're supposed to be Lookman. He's gone now to Fenerbahce, a player we were in for all summer long. We were in for, and he's now gone. We've got the other player, Akimic, was floated as a potential saviour. We're looking at the player from Man City, Oscar Bob. He's gone to Fulham, a player 27 million. Why can we not go for these players? If we're after these players, go and get them and bring them in. But we don't. We do not bring anyone in. We like looking, we like window shopping, but we won't go in and buy. We're as tight as our money as a Scotsman. We even make a Scotsman who they have been reportedly tight with their money look like we've even made Scrooge look like a genius. We're just so bad at buying players and building a squad. Johan Lang, first thing he should do on the 2nd of February is hand in his resignation. Sorry, I wasn't good at my job. Fucking go and leave the club. And then we're left with the underwhelming reality. So, look, after all the promises, all the speculation, and all the failures to land an attacker, what is the grand result of Tottenham's January business? Jack Pointer shit. While several elite players were targeted, the club's official signing list made for grim reading. And at the art, fans wanted an attacking vampire. Don't worry, guys. The only significant first-team additions were Colin Gallagher from Atletico Madrid and the 19-year-old left-back Souza, and then plus this under 18 for West Ham. That is the grand plan. A midfielder and a young fullback to fix a crisis in attack. That 100 million, as David said, was for the run day-to-day running of the club plus transfers. 100 million capital injection from October, which was meant to signal a new era of spending, seems to have vanished without a trace in the eyes of many supporters. It's true. The busy window had amounted to little more than plugging holes in the midfield and defence while the attack was left exposed. The impact on the pitch was immediate, with no new forwards and makeshift attack struggling. The team's forms plummeted, and they find themselves languishing bottom half of the Premier League, 8 points above West Ham, and near a relegation battle. The promised look of us getting top four or challenging for top four has been replaced by a terrifying relegation battle. And that's what we're facing. This is a relegation battle. Again, Alan Sugar put words from the start of the window now sound less like a demand and more like a prophecy. He urged the board to throw some real money at the squad. He said, labelled unless instead they have sold the key attacker and failed to adequately replace him, leaving Thomas Frank. Whatever you think of Thomas Frank, you either Frank in or Frank out. I think Frank's here for the rest of the season. I think the club have backed themselves into a corner of that one. And we're now stuck with the realization of we're not going to buy anyone because we're not going to buy anyone, but we're stuck with a manager that half the players not want at the football club. To face the consequences with his own job reportedly on the line. So, we're absolutely a complete mess. Big up Cyprus Spurs as well, Dermo. It is a relegation battle. It is, but he also said, Dermo, this is real, bro. It is real. We're in. This is the worst I've ever seen Spurs. I'm 45 years this year. Tottenham fan. And this is the worst I've ever seen it. I would love to know, ask David Clark, when we had the 74, 75 season, 75, 76, maybe Wayne can answer it as well, where we nearly went down and we did go down to 76, 77. I mean, next year will be the 50th anniversary of us getting relegated from the old First Division. I'd love to ask David Clark. I know football changes from the 70s to now and it's all evolved and it's different, but as a club, how bad were we back then, run wise, David, to how we run now? Did we just throw money at it to stay in the Premier League, or were we weren't buying a lot of players? And let me know, because this is the worst. Even the Aussie years. I mean, everyone slags off Alan Sugar, but I think people need to give that man a bit of credit because he did put his money where his mouth was, and he also did spend his own money. He didn't always get it right, but I just don't know. I don't know. Look, and then look, we had the promise. We had the summer of promise, the giveaway of winter of despair. Tottenham entered the January transfer window with apparently 150 million to spend on new players. A war chest promised to be busy. That ended in selling an attacker, failure to land a single forward replacement, and signing just a midfielder and a young defender while the team slid down the table. This story is one of the missed opportunities and a failure to act decisively in the moment of crisis. The season was not doomed by bad luck on its own. It was severely handicapped by bad decisions and interaction in the boardroom. With this track record, can Spurs fans trust the board to go and get it right next time? Not a hell's chance. And everyone needs to go and support the protests on Sunday. Let us know your thoughts. I mean, I also write down here, guys, and this is the bit that gets me. I write here the underwhelming reality. No, not that bit. Sorry. Before we get in, look, ENIC strategy and the signings we've made, ENIC have not changed, and everyone needs to get their head around that. They have not changed one iota. They have not changed completely. They're still the same board. Doesn't matter if Daniel Levy's in charge or not. Daniel Levy was the face, was the focal point of the ownership, so he would get all of it. Joe Lewis didn't get any of it. It was all down to Daniel Levy. He's the focal point. Are we as bad? Was it all Daniel Levy? Probably not. But the border, now this is the worst I've seen it. David, I'll big up to you, David. Thanks. It says the next season after Spurs got relegated in 2010, with Spurs only got promoted but in third place from the second division. A huge club should have spent big and run away with the title, but we didn't. Yeah, it was more the 2 years before that, David. How bad were we the 2 years before that? Wayne says, yeah, I remember these years, 93, 94, 97, 98, 2003, 2004. We were woeful. I've supported Spurs 45 years and have that. I went to every game home and away. I've lost. I am lost and confused, mate. I am the same. I'm being honest with you now. Sorry for Spurs. It's 45 years myself. I've completely am so disillusioned with this football club at the moment. I am so disillusioned with everything, and at the moment it's just an infighting between Daniel Levy and the ENIC board and ENIC, and with him trying to sell his shares to a Hong Kong businessman and an Asian, in the consortium, which includes Asian tycoons. ENIC will be doing everything in their power to devalue them shares, so he doesn't get the big outcome. But he's doing what he set out to do, and nobody should be surprised, by the way, about ENIC either. And this was only relieved to me the other day. Somebody said to me, and I did look back on this. It was Tequila said it to me a while ago about ENIC, what Levy's first interaction with the fans was, and it says our aim is to get Tottenham into the Champions League. Well, they succeeded. They did what they said they were going to do. They got us into the Champions League. It wasn't about we're going to make this club successful again. It wasn't about we're going to this club's going to win leagues. This club's going to win trophies. We're going to be successful. The dream was, no, we're going to get into the Champions League. And they did that. And we reached the Champions League final. And we did that. And what have we done since? Nothing. Absolutely square root jackal. And then Levy is relieved of his duties, whatever, in the summer. ENIC come out and said the same bullshit again. It was the same statement, but just sort of Vinay came out, and it was out every other week, wasn't he? With something, a statement from the club with more communication. And it was the same old bullshit. We're going to build on success of Bilbao. We're going to make this club successful again. A bit like a Donald Trump American presidential, campaign. Make Tottenham great again. Well, a bit like Donald Trump, he's ballsed it up. Vinay and the ENIC point to haven't got a clue. They didn't make the hard decisions. They won't make a hard decision over Thomas Frank because Vinay is like, no, I ain't sacking him. Johan Lang, I ain't sacking him either. He's a fellow countryman. No, I ain't sacking him. And they cannot make a decision. If Daniel Levy was in charge, would Thomas Frank still be Tottenham manager at this point? No, he wouldn't. He was gone. He would have been sacked after the Arsenal game, or probably after the Brentford game at Christmas. It's hard to know, isn't it? It's hard to know where we're going or what we're doing at the moment because we're wandering along, like a sorry. We're wandering along like a lost dog. That's what we're doing. It's really frustrating. But the latest I have on Daniel Levy. So this come up in Bloomberg today that Daniel Levy is in talks to sell his nearly 30% stake in the group that owns Tottenham Hotspur to a consortium that includes Hong Kong businessman Nag Wing Fa. Levy is in discussions to sell his stake for about 1 billion, with most of the capital coming from a number of Asian business tycoons. Deliberations are ongoing and can still fall apart, according to people familiar with the matter. And then I did my own bit of digging, asked a few questions, as I always do, guys. And basically, the talks are early. And again, it's not yet a done deal. And of course, the club haven't confirmed anything yet. They have not confirmed anything. And I think the club have to come out and confirm something, but that is the latest I've got. As soon as I get any more, guys, I will bring you up. Right. I'm going to leave it there. Save the voice for the weekend. I am on the Manchester United agenda at 9, so do join me there, guys, for a bit of fun. I need your support. So come on, get over there and give me a hand. But yes, sorry about no shows yesterday. As you can hear, the voice is still a bit croaky. But yeah, I will trying to save it as I can for all the match day stuff on Monday. Big up to Brian. Is Levy selling to any business tycoon? As I've heard, it could be sale on the car. As for what I'm understanding, yes, talks have started. There is talk between Daniel Levy and a consortium from Hong Kong. Levy's looking for about 1 billion for his shares. So we have to see what happens. Big up to Phil Spur. Levy was past master of buying these 3 players at 20 million each, rather than buying one top 2 player for 60 million. So true. Big up Cypher Brian. I'm worried about going down. I am worried too about going down. I really am. Big up to Chris Welly. Says ENIC need to sell up. Unfortunately, football is about money, and now let someone come in who wants to spend big. We've got everything in place to be a really big club. We are a big club, but we just don't act like a big club. And Brian says, I'm old enough to remember us going down in 77. Yeah, that was the year I was born. I was born on the 5th of Feb, 77. Big up Levy advocating ENIC to buy. Yeah, it is. There's a war between Levy and ENIC, and I think it's really disrupting what they should be focusing on is buying the players, is bolstering the squad, is trying to get Thomas Frank the players he needs to make us go up the league. And again, if we don't buy anyone between now and the end and 7 o'clock Monday, then I think we're in real danger of going down. Real danger. One quick word as well before I go. It's all about this. I've seen a lot of people saying they want Man City to win. A lot of Spurs fans saying they want Man City to win, and because it's Arsenal. Can I just say I will be supporting my club all the way for 90 minutes plus on Sunday. I don't care about Arsenal. Arsenal do not live rent free in my head. If Arsenal win the league, what's it going to do to me? Inconvenience for a couple of days. Am I going to be pissed off they've won the league? Yeah, I'll be annoyed on the day to win it. But after that, I'll just concentrate on my club and Tottenham and us coming back. So I would urge everyone, get behind the boys, get behind the team, get behind the boys, and let's get 3 points, because 3 points is so vital at the moment. If West Ham win over the weekend and we lose, then the gap between West Ham and us goes down to 6 points. And then where are we? In shit street. So yeah, get behind the club. Get behind the club. Forget this City to July nonsense, and it is nonsense. Maybe I'm an old fan. Maybe I'm not a younger generation that likes, can want your team to lose. I never backed Tottenham to lose. Never could, never have done, never will do. I don't care. And if I'm one of the few channels that do back Spurs, then I will. I will always back my team. I don't care if in the second, third, whatever. I'll always back my team to win. Always. Always have done, always will do. So yeah. So all this, City to July, and we want Man City to win, stop Arsenal winning the league. Arsenal going to bottle it anyway, so why are we bothering? Big up tonight to Republic. We are a big club run by greedy suits who are football for income, not glory. Levy maybe wasn't the problem and did what he could with investments. Yeah, it's beginning to look like that night to Republic, if I'm being honest. 74-75, played 42, 113, drawn 8, lost 21, points 34, finished 19th out. Yeah, we're just before the relegation that year. Was that year, David, that we beat Chelsea to stay up in the last game of the season? Maybe that was the year. Big up for Spurs, never back Spurs to lose, end up. I'm with you, bud. And also, Brian Smith wants Spurs to win 100%. Big up to you, Brian. Guys, that is it. We're back tomorrow night at 8. Any more breaking news on Daniel Levy, of course, I bring to you first and fastest here on THFC till we die. There will be a predicted lineup show out Sunday morning as well. But guys, thank you all for watching, and come on, Spurs.
Tottenham till I die. Raise a